Legends never die, I believe.
Faker, rest in peace.
Well, for the reverse sweep to happen, we need to see something change from ESL, so we're going to jump straight into this draft. Still client issues, so our cameraman Mike is down on the floor to give us a nice over-the-shoulder point of view. Guys, allow you to talk this through it.
Fantastic. Well, so I was taking a moment to sort of get used to the screen. It's just, right. Okay, so similar bans actually from game 1. ESL being on the red side, just banning away on Cho'Gath and Jarvan. Basically the tanks, in honesty, that you mentioned.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the tank. Super infuriating, frustrating to deal with. And, oh, ESL actually on the blue side, because we're spectating Singularity side, right? So they
I was looking at that,
yeah,
like,
because I was wondering, why is the Kalista banned on blue side?
Yes, I was trying to say the same.
Shot yourself in the foot there.
Okay, so
no.
ESL is blue.
ESL's the blue side, yep.
That confused me.
Yep.
Right, so bear with.
The Azir,
changing my notes.
oh, they've actually taken the Azir away. We've not actually seen Cromel on the Azir. Deciding to take that one away from Parascree, performing very well with it in the first game. And yeah, as we said, Sejuani picked up again. Like, why not?
Yep. Why not indeed? I mean, you know, exactly, it's a tank obnoxious to deal with. Very, very excited to see this Azir, in honesty. We've seen it the other way around. Would you pick into it? And you've got a lot of options, I guess. Everything's still open and on the table. No need to pick your mid laner this early. And Xayah being prioritized over Tristana, which is not necessarily what I expected.
I think that's just Xmati's personal preference.
Okay.
Yeah, since he's much more comfortable on the Xayah, absolutely loves it. And we'll see if they're actually going to take away the Rakan now, possibly. Trying to deny the Xayah and Rakan combo away. Tristana and Rakan could be a pickup from ESL here. Or they might even give up the Rakan and aim to go for like a Thresh or an Alistar. Or maybe even Morgana to try and deny the Rakan engage.
We see a lot though, don't we, you know, taking that Rakan away from the Xayah Rakan because the duo is just so strong because of the buffs they give each other. Knowing that the opposing side wants to pick up Rakan here, is there anything in particular that counters it? I'm thinking, I mean, Thresh is fine into it, I presume.
Thresh, Morgana, Alistar, all quite viable.
We've seen Morg a lot of bans, haven't we?
Yeah, there's the Morgana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that denies the Rakan pick as well. In turn, kind of denies Thresh pick to an extent. Morgana just being naturally quite good into Thresh, right? So, in a sense, it's quite a good pickup from the support side of things.
Yeah. See some dabs coming in the...
yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting we get this this version because you get a little bit more of an insight into the teams and what they do.
I'm happy with what they're saying here because usually it's very toxic.
Yeah, this
honestly,
is
it's usually jokes between them, but it's usually things like, oh, nice CSing and because some guy was down and stuff like that.
Janna actually coming through from Singularity here, sort of, you know, acknowledging that ESL are going for a, you know, sort of deny a sort of cucking bot lane with the Morgana, preventing as many plays as possible.
Did you really just use cucking to describe something? Great.
So the Janna coming through, Singularity are saying, okay, we're accepting the fact that you don't want us to make any plays on the bot lane. That's totally fine with us. We'll raise you, Janna. So bot lane is just going to be a 2v2 island, most likely, and they're going to be looking to make plays elsewhere on the map. A lot of mid lane bans coming through from ESL here. Vladimir, Syndra all taken away, banned away, Azir being picked up. What has Parascree got for us this game?
I'm excited to okay. What?
Oh.
Is that a counter pick? Is that no? Because isn't the range deep, like damage per second is too high, and then Zed goes in on you, you can just ult him out. I mean, W back in, but then you walk through your wall and okay, cool.
I have no idea how this matchup goes. Dan mentioned a minute ago about showboating in the final game. I think this might be a bit of an example of that.
Your support takes Janna so that your bot lane's an island, and then you just sort of commit to let's camp mid lane.
Yeah, that is very odd team composition indeed. I haven't got my maracas here. I left them at home ready for this final Fiesta game, but we'll see. We'll see what the final pick is going to be coming here out of ESL.
Safe Gnar pick makes sense.
Safe Gnar pick. Of course, Singularity actually have the last pick, so Gnar is usually good into those tanks. Picks up the Kayle. We're having the Kerberos Kayle this game.
It was Kayle because he went to Kayle standard as his rune page.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Kayle got locked.
So he's actually going to get to see the Kerberos Kayle special.
This is a treat for everyone. Kayle has been permanently banned every single game against him for the last 6 months.
Yeah, wow.
Across every tournament in the UK, he is. You know, and he's like, I don't even play it in most situations. He plays it in solo queue because it's memes, but he doesn't even play it in most situations. He's like, I'll only play it if it's genuinely good. And finally, he's gone for it. But looking at the comp, you know, they need AP damage because they've gone for the Zed. They have tanks in Sejuani. They have a Janna. They have Morgana even.
Morgana.
So I guess it kind of fits. Ardent Sensor Kayle. As in, are buffing her with
Morgana's on XL. The Janna.
Yeah, the Janna even. But that's what I mean, Janna,
I mean,
Kale, that works, right, as well? I mean, everything works.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Kale pick
Kale PogChamp.
I think that the Kale pick is probably more to just make Gnar not useful. Because, I mean, Gnar, a very strong pick into tanks. Obviously not going to pick a tank into the Gnar. So having the last pick advantage onto the red side allows him to play something that can match the Gnar and sort of bully him out the lane rather than let Gnar get the bully forward. Well,
you said maybe there's a little bit of showboating. Maybe it will work out well for the Singularity boys. We will see. Can they go 3-0, or are XL going to be able to get back into this series? To run us through the action once again, Jaws and Foxdrop, take it away, guys.
Thank you very much once again. And here we go. Singularity flexing their muscles now with the Z lock-in in the mid lane, as well as Kerberos. Finally, it had to be the finals, but he got his Kale.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary pocket pick, I would say. I don't think we were expecting to see it, really, but I mean, I'm more excited to see the Z, and that's going to be a Z-Azir matchup. That's 2 carries in the mid lane. We were discussing whether or not it was a counter pick on the analyst desk. I think it's either way very explosive, and the 2 safe supports in bot lane, Morgana and Janna, kind of not really expecting much action going down there. So that means someone's going to be popping off elsewhere on the map, and it's probably going to be in the mid lane.
I mean, most of the kills have happened in mid lane over the past 2 games. And now with match point on the line as well, you look at XL's roster, or you look at their heroes that they picked. Azir, Tristan and Morgana, Zac and Gnar. There's nothing more meta about that composition. There's no crazy flex pick coming out. We know Orcs is a fantastic Morgana player. They've got a lot of engage. They've got a lot of ways to disengage as well. And now it's all up to Singularity. Can they get Parascree rolling on this Z? Because it's even harder to jump away from a Z when he's already deathmarked you.
Yeah, and I think this has to be the game for XL to show what they can do through their mid lane. Because previously they've picked Orianna, they've picked the Xerath as well. Both those picks aren't the jump on my back, I'm going to carry you picks. They're the, okay, I'm going to fill out a certain role for the team. And we haven't really seen any success coming through that mid lane. And if we want to see something happen, and if we really want to see a redemption game, I mean, he's playing the hyper carry now, so let's see if he can do it.
We're jumping into a small pause, by the way. That's why we extended our
Like a
time
kitten.
talking.
Small pause.
Small pause. I wonder where you're going with that, but
Yeah.
sharp, mate.
Yeah, I'm
Sharper.
not just a caster, I'm also a hilarious comedian.
Comedian, all right, okay.
Not many people know that, and a lot of people actually object to me calling myself that. But as we can all see, it's obviously.
It's quite apparent that I'm quite a funny guy. Well, I'm glad we've got you casting alongside me, because I don't bring that much humour into it.
No.
I mean,
But you know what else would be funny?
what's that?
If they've picked the carry mid lane and it falls flat. I mean, when I say funny,
That'd be funny.
I mean funny in the sense ironic funny.
Yeah.
Probably ha-ha funny if you're a Singularity fan. But generally speaking, we're seeing a mix-up of strategies in the mid lane. So I think we should see different things going down.
Well, here we are, match point for Singularity. 2 whole games up against XL. This is XL's last opportunity to try and clutch that trophy that is slowly slipping away from them. Game number 3, Singularity on the red, XL over on the blue. We've got a Z, we've got a Kale, we've got a game.
All right, let's see what the early pathing does for us this time. We had a level 2 gank mid lane last game. I don't really think we'll see that from either one of these champions, but we've seen they're not averse to doing these kind of cheesy early paths, so it will be interesting to see if anything happens as well. This is the only game we've seen Taxa not play Jarvan this series. And to be honest, I think he's actually played pretty well. So, but I would argue that Jarvan is much more of an early threat than Zac is. So we will see whether or not he can repeat the same kind of success, or whether he's going to be playing a little bit more chill, maybe looking for some counter ganks, just get some vision down in the enemy jungle. Because I don't really feel like if you're playing Taxa, there's no real massive incentive for you to have to go to any of these lanes.
One item I want to quickly point out before we get this underway, or as the minions do spawn, they've got a cull up in the top lane. A cull from Kerberos to start us off. Full farm game, hoping to make sure, well, hoping to not go down early on like he did in the last couple. Now, a small stat for you coming over the last 2 games. XL have not only secured first blood each of the games, they've also secured the first turret as well. They are just unable to snowball these leads, and Singularity like you'll see teams like SKT will sometimes take a little bit of a hit in the early game to then turn it around in mid and show off their power spikes.
Yeah, I think that EXCEL have played a pretty good game as far as respecting their win conditions and playing towards the win conditions. But things just kind of fall apart when the enemy mid laner gets really, really fed. And we have seen, specifically with the last game, a lot of the Inax please carry us comp, which didn't work when he was playing versus a really fed Syndra. But this game, Inax doesn't have to carry by himself. Azir can do that too, and to be honest, if Nar gets rolling as well, there's potential for that to get out of control too. So I like it. Inax said he loves the pressure and he plays around that, he thrives in it, but it's nice when you don't have to have it, you know? It's nice when you can do different things and have various routes to victory. Because if this Z pops off again, like, that's going to be a problem for Inax again, so yeah. Nice for other people to step up.
I mean, farming up on the Tristana is something you're looking to do, but like you mentioned, if Paris does get ahead, he's even taking the Ignite into the lane. Krumel actually picking up the barrier in this instance. Cleanse now doesn't actually get rid of the death mark either, so it's going to be quite a spicy one, depending on where the jungler's path. And we've seen Taxa more often than not actually spotting out Sessa. Sessa not walking through the bush. Has got double buffs and is level 3. Stretching strikes doesn't quite hit, but he's in an awkward situation. He's going to dash over the wall. Krumel's going to be there as well. Sessa flashing into the brush. Tried to have a double dip on Taxa, but he knew exactly where he was. Flashless Sejuani. This could very well be first blood. Can't quite find himself over the wall. First blood Azir would be beautiful. Krumel isn't going to find it. Shikari steals it away. There's the Q. Thank you very much.
Boy.
Double buffs for the top laner.
All right then, I guess Nar gets that kill. I was thinking, you know, this is the perfect setup that these guys want. Krumel has had a bit of an underwhelming series so far. Perfect start to the game, get him the kill, get him the double buffs, especially if he's playing into a rather tumultuous lane matchup, but I guess a boomerang beats Sand Soldiers. So, to be fair, it's good to have that on Shikari top lane as well. So,
I mean, they're undead soldiers. He's wearing the Underworld skin. He made a Sam, right?
Yeah.
Undead, he's raising the dead. I've always been a fan of that skin. Pity I cannot play Azir at all, so I never actually do. I only get it in A round.
Azir's a tricky one, so I think you're let off on that one.
Oh, thank God.
We did see Paris Grieve pop off on Azir.
Yeah, we did.
And if Krumel can do it as well, then it looks like you're the only one here who can't play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody else in the studio.
Literally everyone.
Fairly adapt. Oh, level 7 mastery as well. Spam that as soon as they get into game. Now, we've actually got an interesting Drake. We've had 2 Ocean Drakes to start us off the games previously. But now, in this match point game, we've got an Infernal on the board. And I want to point this out. Krumel is actually getting bullied here by Paris Grieve. It's actually a level down at the moment as well. Paris Grieve spent a little bit more time in the lane while Krumel went to actually deal with Sessa. So Paris Grieve will hit that level 6 before the Azir does. So they can play around that pressure if necessary.
Yeah, this is somewhat to be expected early game to have the Azir be shoved in, because Zed can just spam his energy, but we're getting an engaged bot lane. This could be something.
Nice That's an Ignite actually onto Xmati as well. He did end up blowing at the flash. He does have barrier, mind you. Shifter does have the heal, so he didn't blow that one. But that's a pretty early Summoner Smell burning in the bot lane.
That's worth it. You want to get that Zarya's flash, that's really good. And this also now opens up a potential gank in the bot lane. You were talking about the Infernal Dragons, and whereas it's kind of hard to play around bot lane because of the support picks this game, oh, close. I was going to say, that means they might be playing around mid lane a bit like this, but if you have that flash down, that kind of negates the whole fact that this bot lane becomes, or was originally hard to kill. Now they're easier to kill. There's a lot of good booty in that bot lane to pick up. As a pirate version of booty, I should say, keeping the stream PG in the Infernal Dragon.
Went to dragons, to pirates. What other mythological creatures can you find? Or are we going straight to Game of Thrones? Is that where we're going?
As long as we stay away from Scotsy and Stephen Hawking, I think we'll be fine.
I mean, it was a bit of an odd reference, but hey, Paris Grieve going in. He is level 6 as well. Dash away from Krumel. Doesn't actually blow any summoners just yet, but Paris Grieve actually popping that at Ignite. Trying to force something out of him, but Krumel, steady as a rock.
So far,
hold on to him.
That's good. I mean, Ignite for nothing, you'll take that. Especially now Deathmark comes into play. Deathmark plus Ignite, very, very scary. So being able to blow that Ignite lessens the kill factor, and also this level 6 kill pressure, really, really big for this Zed. You might see junglers start coming around here. We've had a really passive lane phase for junglers right now, as we were kind of expecting, talking about them maybe just farming up, but here he comes. Taxa's going in for another one. So hard to gank this Zed when he has his W up. So difficult.
Don't you just hate it? So he pops back in and then one-shots you with a death mark. Not so much anymore, though. Krumel has actually got that Seeker's Arm Guard for this first component item. So he'll be able to sustain in the lane. Adds a little bit more armor over time as you do kill minions. So it's going to be nice for him, although it is going to delay maybe a Morello's or a Nash's Tooth. In fact, we did see Paris Gree prioritizing the Morello's and Leandries when he did play Azir earlier on today.
Yeah, Azir wants that Morello's. He needs to have that mana regen so he can just keep shoving and pushing lanes in. Zed has really good lane pressure because he can just endlessly push because he has AD, he can push, he's got energy. XL going for this dragon now as well. And a great timing with Paris Gree under tower. They might be able to pick this one up for free.
Vision not there whatsoever. Krumel just disappeared as soon as that control ward went down. So free Infernal Drake for XL to start off the game. They're going to be more than happy with that, and for nothing as well, mind you. Paris Gree, like you said, was in mid lane trying to actually clear the wave underneath his turret, and that's something Krumel's going to be able to do. Push this Zed in. And with Taxa not camping the lane, but being around more often than not, does and can prevent Paris Gree going for these massive all-ins.
Well, if anything else, it's also a bit psychological. Paris Gree has been pushing mid lane out and being jumped on by Zac to little effect in actuality, but he knows that Zac is hovering around mid or willing to hover around mid, as he's doing again. So that plays into your psyche a little bit. You might be less likely to go for those all-ins or those risky trades because you're just maybe over-respecting Zac a little bit as well. But we are seeing is keeping Azir safe at least. And we really have to look at Cesar's pathing as well, because when they were going for the Infernal Dragon, he was doing his Krug topside. So we have to think about what that kind of team play call is there. They must have known that they would risk losing the Infernal with him topside. But now he's level 6, so...
Nice binding. Matty's flash isn't even up. Still down, and now Taxa is going to control ward that brush. And that will lead Inax and Orcs to push up that lane rather sharpish. Have all summoners as well, even Orcs is Ignite, and...
Oh gosh.
Here comes the... Big Zac is going to dash forward. In fact, stretching strikes onto two people brings Matty back. That's going to be first blood going over to the jungler. Taxa secures it, and Krumel even in a little bit of trouble in the mid lane. Didn't even blow summoners. Just shuffled right out of there.
Oh man, Jenna flashed away from that engage, but didn't at any point press R. As soon as you see Zac coming in there, you got to pop the ultimate straight away. I was a bit surprised he was able to get anything there actually with the Janna option being open, but Janna screams every man for himself. Dips, and a kill going over to XL.
And yet again, XL secure their bottom lane turret as well. Whatever lane their AD carry and support are in, they do prioritize in turret taking. Third game in a row that's happened. And once again, Inax has actually got that solo gold, picked up Ninja Tabbies, and he's picked up that BF sword as well. So we are already at the point where he's actually quite scared, although when you think about it, there's 3 auto attackers on the side of Singularity in the Kayle, in the Zed. He's going to be hurting you with shurikens, but his auto attacks still hurt as well, and obviously the Xayah.
What is different about this game from the previous games is that even though XL's been able to pick up the first blood tower bot side, in the 2v2, pretty much the pure 2v2 bot lane's been so far, XL are actually coming out on top as far as the CS goes. Recently, the past few games, even though they've been able to get stuff going, they never really had any concrete lead in that 2v2. But this is looking really good for XL right here. And having switched to top side now means they can play around the Rift Herald as well.
Inax being so aggressive. In fact, Taxa's going to come in as well with this slingshot. Doesn't end up landing anything. Stretching strikes. Couldn't find another target for that either. But Inax once again used that rocket leap straight into the fray. He's not really scared. He's got Morgana there. He's got the black shield, so no CC can hit him. And he's more than happy to take those trades of health bars. Krumel is going to swap Cesar. There comes the Emperor's Divide. He's going to flash over the wall. Rift Herald somehow making his way over there. Cesar, wrong place, wrong time. Krumel secures himself his first kill.
That was ridiculous. He leashed Rift Herald over just to get that second thwap on the whatever, sweeping strikes. Something like that. You're the play-by-play, not me. And now, not only do they pick up a kill, but like I said, they can play around this Rift Herald. And you have to imagine, they may choose to even not use this Rift Herald in topside, because that might be the easy one. They might be looking beyond that. Usually you would see this go down mid as well, and if they're able to break out the mid, that means a lot more than just being able to break out the top, especially since Taxa's picked this one up as well. So we might be seeing a shift of focus, get that top lane down ASAP, and then all rotate into mid lane and pick that up with the Rift Herald as well.
Well, speaking about shift of focus, Shikari and Kerberos have just been left alone like a top laner normally is, sitting on an island. But in game number 1, Kerberos was heavily focused on the choke app. They wanted to punish him with Shikari on that trundle. Right now, Kerberos has acquired a 26 CS lead. Once he kills that minion.
That's pretty...
26 CS lead versus Shikari, who's had a really tough time in this lane.
And Kerberos started with Cole as well, so this CS lead is moderately significant as far as the 1v1 is concerned, but I'm not quite sure whether it will mean that much as far as the scope of the game is concerned. I don't know whether or not Kayle having 500 gold over Gnar really changes the scope of the game. It will really start sucking if Kayle starts solo killing the Gnar, but I don't really see that happening, honestly, especially with Gnar itemizing into tank like he does, rushing that frozen mallet. So as long as Kerberos doesn't start hard popping off in the 1v1, this CS deficit shouldn't mean too much for EXL. Plus, we know they're going to be playing around Inax and Orcs as well, so shouldn't be getting too much going down.
Parascree's having a tough time in this mid lane as well. Not that he's down on CS right now, but Krumel is at that point in the game. He's got Berserker's Greaves, he's got Lost Chapters, so he's almost infinite mana, it feels like, and he's just pressuring the Zed in time and time again. Pops the Soldier up, uses the Shifting Sands to get out of if necessary, and now they're just going to 4-man the mid lane, not even using the Rift Herald either.
But look at the position of Sejuani. If these guys wanted to collapse on this one, if Singularity decided to pull the trigger, which they're not going to, he was waiting over the wall. But that's to be able to break that mid tower without having to use any summoners like a teleport or Rift Herald, that is actually quite significant, because now it opens up the next dragon that's spawning. Beautiful Infernal Dragon. If you're XL, this is what you want to see. 2 Infernals in a row, yes please.
Funnily enough, another Infernal. We're having Ocean Drake after Ocean Drake. Finally, the match that's on the line for XL. They are gifted with 2 Infernals back to back. That'll be them securing that one. With XL having such an amazing amount of wave clear on their side as well, it's going to be very, very hard for Singularity to actually siege these turrets. They've got Kerberos to clear the waves, yes. I mean, Parascree does a good job of that as well. But the problem is, you're going against an Azir and a Tristana. Even if that turret goes down, he can pot one up. And in fact, Parascree going rather aggressive. Oh, there's the Glacial Prism. Yep, that was an easy kill. Krumel's going to go down. Sessa from over the wall might just signal their first turret going down.
If you're playing a jungler, or playing against a jungler more specifically, who has an ability to jump over walls, you have to be careful of getting done from behind over this chicken wall right there. Because it's a very common pathing. Rek'Sai, for example, will do the same thing, Lee Sin with his ward hops to kick you out. And Sejuani with her jump into ultimate. And Krimmel does not have cleanse this game, which is quite significant as far as Sejuani and what she's able to do.
Didn't even pop barrier, didn't even pop flash, didn't have time, was knocked up, was stunned in place, just couldn't react.
This is going to be scary now though as well.
Oh. He's in a lot of trouble, although Kerberos flashing forward really wants this kill, and of all the people to take it, it's going to be Shifter. He'll actually use from him as well to make sure Kerberos stays alive for the time being. Inax going very aggressive yet again, and in fact, that's how Rift Herald opening up in the top side. They spot the weakness of Kerberos not having a lot of HP, and they decide to lay that one down.
Yeah, this could be a pretty good push topside. They want to get more than one tower, but a smart reaction from Singularity here to see, okay, you guys are going to do something topside. That's cool. You can take your friend, the Rift Herald, do that. We're going to go mid lane and get that tower. And breaking a mid tower, basically trading towers in this situation, it's not that bad, honestly, for Singularity, especially considering XL exerted more resources to get that one done because they had to use the Rift Herald. So, not too bad.
And with that mid tower going down now, seen as the most important turret in the game, the mid tier 1, it opens up so much more of the map. What Zed is really good at doing is isolating a target and instantly killing them when he's got something like an Ignite in his first item. Funnily enough, Duskblade is a perfect item for Zed. Stays out of combat, or sorry, stays in the shadows, jumps out on you, gets an extra proc of damage along with his full burst combo as well from the Death Mark. That's an extremely sticky situation for Krumel and Inax, and if they're not careful, Parascree will be able to blow them up before they can even do anything.
Exactly. I mean, just look at, you mentioned the Duskblade. That means he can see when there's wards and when there aren't wards, so he can go really aggro into the enemy jungle. But he's also already got a sweeper. Now, you don't pick a sweeper when you're sitting to chill out in mid lane. You pick a sweeper when you're looking to go crazy, you want to invade and you want to get rid of wards. So we can definitely see here that Paris Gree is looking, at least, to try and get something going down, look for some roams, and we can see a lot of pingers going down bot side.
Oh, hey, Paris Gree. He's going to get
sure
jumped
about
on.
that one.
Oh, Deathmark actually used to jump out of the elastic slingshot, but he's just going to get taken down anyway. Shikari's going to find him with just a basic attack. Teleport is going to come through, but he instantly gets kidnapped. Beautiful. Kerberos, though, using the ultimate to stay alive for the time being. That's going to be down.
Through.
They are just going to take that turret, or at least try to. Nice stretching strikes. Featherstorm actually used upon Matty, just in case they did want to engage a little bit more. Xscale, they are going to be able to find that initial kill. Can't get anything off the back of it apart from a little bit of turret damage.
That's still fine considering they've got Azir pushing in the top side. I mean, they didn't dedicate a whole amount to that play right there, and they still came out on top. Paris Gree was trying to cheese in that bush right there by the tower. Bit off a little bit more than he could chew. But you can kind of see what kind of playstyle this guy is trying to go for, and maybe even a little bit desperation considering right now, it feels as though if you're on Singularity's comms right now, you might be thinking you're a little bit further behind than you actually are, because it feels as though Excel's kind of out-rotated them this game. And if we actually look at the goal total, Singularity are ahead. But maybe that might be playing into their mind a little bit. Maybe they're thinking, if you're a Zed and you haven't really been able to get anything done, maybe you start getting a little bit twitchy looking for these things. So, all in all, not too bad. At least the tower doesn't fall down from Singularity's side. So they've got that.
Kerberos did secure that top tier 1 a moment ago as well, about 3 minutes ago. Just the rotations from XL, just leaving those unguarded turrets, enables this KO to just bash through. And it's very easy with the Nash's Tooth. Even with just a Stinger and Berserker Greaves, you just do so much damage with your Righteous Fury anyway. You leave her with 1 minion wave, she's going to just demolish it.
And
now,
it looks like she's going for the Ginzu's next, by the way. I played versus the Ginzu's KO in solo queue. It was mid lane. It went 0-4 lane phase, hard carried the rest of the game. Now, I'm pretty bad, okay? So there's that. But it's disgusting, let me put it that way. The damage is insane, and when you're playing versus carries like Azir and Tristana, who you would think might out-DPS you, it doesn't happen when you run at them with your ultimate on. So, depending on how these fights shape out, especially when you have a Zed on your team as well, and you can ultimate him.
and that's not only going to be a Guinzo's KO. Whoa, Glacial Prism actually used on Taxa there, just so Sessa can actually just disengage from that. Not only is it a Guinzo's on KO, it's Kerberos's KO as well. This guy's a monster on what seems to be off-meta picks, especially this KO, which has been banned away from him all season, like Frozen Dawn said on the desk. This is a scary situation for Shikari, it feels like. He's got 2 kills, yes. But Kerberos wants more, and even Paris Gree, in fact, have got a CS lead that rivals their enemy laners.
We were talking about the CS lead not meaning too much because Nar was behind 20 to KO. This might not be one.
Paris Gree, Deathmark. Oh, but the Streamer Shuffle might just find him. He does find the Zhonya, so that Deathmark won't do any damage, but can he find it? Soldier's doing a little bit too much damage. Flash forward. Ignite was there, but Gree now finds the solo kill on Paris Gree.
That's what he was looking for this whole series. He's been behind Paris Gree, the first 2 games outshone.
Kerberos in trouble though, does get stunned against the wall. Shikari, Inax moving their way there. Divine Intervention isn't going to be enough. Orcs taking a lot of damage, but the Ignite, the pull was enough. The support finds his first kill.
Do we start looking at Baron now? This is a 3v5, and they had that last kill in the top side, right where Baron lives. Right in that neighborhood, they're looking for it, they're engaging it. Zed is spawning in 10 seconds. The smite for Singularity is also available. Do they turn? What are they gonna do?
Kremel's got so much zoning potential with these Sand Soldiers as well. Orcs is very low, mind you, so can't really go in for an ult. Meganar from Shikari is up and about. Let's get a black shield. That's actually going to be XL disengaging for the moment. A little bit too scared of Sessa and the full health bars coming through for Singularity.
And now, honestly, you have to be afraid if you're XL. Like, what does Singularity get off of this with the knowledge that XL are probably going to be recalling here? They're probably going to be resetting right now. Zed is looking for it. His positioning here, he's trying to get something cheeky going down. Singularity have a very good team at skirmishes. And they might actually have to sacrifice a lot of damage on this mid tower.
Yeah, about half of that is gone as Matty did make his way towards that mid lane. Binding from Orc doesn't quite hit and in fact just gets rooted up. takes half his HP bar with him as well, but Parascree is working on that top tier too, so Singularity's macro game right now. Deathmark coming in though, is going to bounce him underneath that turret. Will it be enough to kill him? I don't think so, and Krumel finds another kill on the Zed. Maybe Singularity flexing their muscles a little bit too much. Kerberos though is going to secure that bottom tier 1.
That was nice composure by Taxa there, not to panic as soon as he sees the Zed going in on him. But really, Zed building lethality, good against squishies, not good against people who've built Cinderhulk and Ninja Tabby and even more armor. So, pretty nice pickup, but Kerberos, we have to talk about Kerberos here and his KO, because this is a split pushing machine. He pushes these waves down so fast, and it doesn't really slow up much when he gets to the towers either. And as the game goes on, I can't help but feel like Na's going to struggle more and more to contain KO. So XL might have to be forced to pull the trigger, and in a situation like this, when you're down 0-2 in the series, you pull that trigger and you mess it up, you're in a bit of a pickle indeed. So maybe the pressure will get to them, maybe Kerberos will start popping off.
Over the last couple of games, Singularity around this time have extended their gold leads. They've had 4,000 gold in the leading game number 1, 6,000 gold in game number 2 at 22 minutes. Now it's only 1,000 separating both these teams, with most of that gold from XL actually on Krumel right now. This guy's sitting at 3 kills, 2 of them being on Parascree as well. Singularity are just being able to clear waves, yes, but as this Azir gets later and later into the game, he's going to be picking up Nash's Tooth, which is going to signal a whole lot more trouble for Parascree. Can even set up forward turrets as well to just make sure XL have got the siege comp that they initially wanted to draft. Their very meta style is coming forthright here. Absolutely. The Singularity have picked these off-meta Zed and their Kale, and yes, it's Kerberos' Kale, but right now it's sitting at 0-1. 2 items on board though, like you said. We've seen scarier things, and one thing that's quite scary is a Kale in solo queue with 2 items. Absolutely.
And it was interesting to see the gold turret was there as well. We saw that Zed is really not that far behind Azir at all. 100 or 200 gold. It's really nothing. And even though he's not found his windows yet, he might be able to later on.
Featherstorm actually used by Matty to avoid that elastic slingshot. I think they're just going to forfeit this turret. Yes, they are. There's the Shurima Shuffle. It's going to find Sessa as well. He does flash over it, however. Goes Golden. Monsoon from Shifters. Taxa jumps in yet again. Stretching strike onto Sessa. Let's bounce straight into the rest of XL. And he finds himself a kill. But meanwhile, across the map, Kerberos and Parascree are split pushing, and they find 1 turret.
That probably is worth it for Singularity. You lose a person, and unless you lose Baron right here, they're fighting in mid lane pretty hard. Unless you lose more.
Resets from Inax. He's going to find 1. A root does land onto Matty.
Zed's positioning. He's looking for it.
Summing. Oh, Taxa jumps straight on top of him. Wants a little summing. Stretching strikes on to the Scuttle Crab. Uh-oh, Krumel looking for this flash forward from Orc to try and get the binding, but Parascree hot on the keys is going to flash away as well.
The question is can Shikari hold Kerberos in this bot side? This tower has been getting lower and lower as this whole thing has been going on, and it's on half health. Shikari's holding on quite nicely. All in all, pretty good though, I would say, for XL. I'm just a little bit surprised that they're almost 1,000 gold down this game. It feels like they've been in control pretty much the whole game. Obviously, they're 9 kills to 2 as well. But it is worth noting as well that the later this game goes on, the more Infernal Dragon starts meaning. And we can't see that as far as like gold total goes, like how much gold Infernal gives you. But their strength in these team fights will be heavily influenced by the fact they have double Infernal right now.
Look how scared Parascree is now. Not necessarily scared, but he's picked up that Hex Drinker just to negate some of that magic damage from Krumel. And now XL, they've been at the boot camp. They've been practicing in a team environment, which is always going to be much better than being at home on your own PCs. Being around your team members gives you not only a sense of more teamwork, and you can talk to each other about the games, not on TeamSpeak, not on Discord, not on nothing. They are right next to each other. So if something goes wrong, they can instantly turn to their, support, their jungler, and go, what went wrong here? What happened? What did we do that was maybe a bit not us? Maybe we didn't play around our win condition. Maybe we should have pushed a little bit too far forwards.
Double buff.
Pushing forwards though. Kerberos got double buff. Parascree is here as well. Meganar's coming up soon, mind you. Death Mark is going to come through. Ignite. Shikari got debated. Parascree, Kerberos, they want to go in on something. Red buff finishes him off in the other end, but they're going to try and go for this Baron instead. Only just starting up, however. Shikari does have teleport, but he's up in 40 seconds. Sessa on the other side of the wall. Kerberos is going to challenge his teleport. Does get busted, shotted away. Sessa gets rooted as well, but this Baron is not quite low enough. Kerberos, divine intervention on himself. Orcs is going to go down really low. The Baron is going to go over to XL, but Xmati in the 1v1 versus Inax is going to find the first kill. Paris Green now turns his attention towards the Tristana. They still find the Baron. They lose 2 members. At least they got Inax, Krumel, and Taxa out alive.
That could have been so scary for XL if Zed still had his death mark. But he used it bot side to kill Shikari. XL pulled the trigger around the Baron, but they may have got completely wiped. No flash on Zed, no ultimate on Zed. That could have been something completely more scary right there. But that was a really, really nice play. That's exactly what XL wrote on my own. And I don't know if you guys can hear this at home, but hearing it here, people will start screaming whenever XL do things. And that's got to feel good, you know, when you get a good play, when you get a good play going down. That's what you need. When you're down 0-2, a lot of it's just mental. And sometimes screaming like a barbarian, it works.
Got to get energy back in your system.
Exactly.
Got to live off the crowd. And XL...
I mean, just look at them. They can't contain themselves. They're so pumped.
He's like, finally, I got the KO. But Singularity are right now sitting in a position where they are against a Siege comp that has Baron buff.
Yeah.
And you got to... The Gnar into the KO isn't such an easy thing for the KL either. You got to say, both of them being ranged, it's kind of more of a skill matchup than anything else. You got
Gnar is known as a bully, really, for lane phase.
You got to edge it towards Kerberos though, because you know his KL's pretty strong. But right now, he's finding these split push opportunities against the Gnar. But more often than not, if we find them in a team fighting situation, you've got to give it to the Gnar. He's only there to output damage on this KL. Gnar's got so much CC and so much tankiness on his side that you got to put the eggs in the XL basket right now.
I mean, if you saw when Kerberos teleported in to join that Baron play, he TP'd into the pit, had to instantly ult himself, got a lot of damage down, but imagine if that was a Mega Gnar right there. That would just win you the fight straight away. So you're right. I mean, in this 1v1 situation, Kerberos definitely has the edge, and he even has a level advantage right now as well. But if XL can hold on and not lose anything to Kerberos, if that split push doesn't start going a little bit too crazy, then it's fine because you can just TP and join your team, start making team plays, and then Cal's in that really awkward position where, you know, does she just keep split pushing? Am I going to lose too much if I don't join my team? If I do join my team, am I going to be able to influence that? You know, that's the difficult situation. And you mentioned the Siege comp with Baron. Zac, not necessarily known as a pure Siege champion, but a very good diver because you jump in, you pop your ultimate, you kidnap someone away, that starts the dive, and that's what that's about. So there's a lot of pressure right now on Singularity to hold on with this against this Baron buff, and it's not easy. And the wave clear coming out of that mid lane with Zed versus Baron minions, it's not really that's
gonna be nothing.
Insignificant. So XL advantage XL, I would say right now, but at the same time, you got to execute. You can't just have the advantage. You actually got to pull through and finish.
Singularity have drafted more of a 1-3-1 in the sense that they want to put Zed in one lane.
Yeah.
They want to put this Kayle in one lane as well. If they do slip up and maybe show a little bit too soon, it's going to be an easy barrel down one lane. Maybe that doesn't matter if it's top, mid, or bottom. And that Tristana puts the bomb on the turret. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Easy turret. And like you said, if Taxa wants to go for a big dive, he can do on the Zac. He is so tanky at this point in the game, it's going to be extremely hard for Singularity to actually do anything to it, any meaningful damage to him. We are back into the game after that brief pause. Remember, XL, they've got 3 Baron buff members. That is Taxa, Krumel, and Inax. What can they do with it, though? Shikari still has teleport, mind you, and Kerberos does not. So maybe they play around that.
Absolutely. I mean, if Shikari had the Baron, then this would be ideal. You just stick Shikari in one lane, and then with his Baron buff, that lane pushes. I mean, Kerberos doesn't really struggle to hold lane anyway, but if there was something to make him sweat, it would be the Baron. Or at least that would even it out a little bit more, you know. Gnar would not be constantly playing under a tower, and that means that he can actually teleport to plays without fear of losing a big objective like that tower. So I do want to see, I think a lot of it comes down to Shifter's Shoulders playing the Janna, because XL with that Zac, they might look to do something a little bit scary here, and then they have pretty good kind of like zoning capabilities as well with the Azir going down too, so, and the Meganar, like it's a really scary combo. And Janna needs to be able to negate the engage and to play that kind of defensive play style, which is why he picked the Janna. If she's able to do that and they can hold on.
Now, we did say on the desk that was the end of the Eagle era. But we're still seeing the Janna, but it makes good sense, right? It makes a lot of sense coming up against Taxa on the Zac. There we go.
Janna is very good at stopping Zac's engages. Even just with a Q, you block the elastic slingshot, and that's really, I mean, that's Zac's signature move, let's be real. So, oh my goodness. Hat-trick, baby, let's go.
Is he a large bit of bubblegum after all? Pity's not actually in the bubblegum skin, or the pink chroma, that is.
That is a fantastic chroma.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's bought a chroma and hasn't got the pink one.
Yeah, bit disappointing.
That
really.
is a questionable decision right there.
Do you jungle, bro?
Yeah, what's that about?
Pink Zac?
How are you meant to establish jungle dominance if you don't gank a lane in your pink chroma? Nothing is more intimidating than getting ganked by someone wearing pink, let me tell you that much.
So coming from you being a jungler, that is?
I'm a Xin abuser, and I use the pink chroma on Xin because it's all about dominance.
Asserting your dominance. This is exactly what XL's doing right now. Taking those turrets with ease. They do take the bottom at tier 2. Now XL moving towards that Drake. They've already got 2 Infernals. Might as well knock that one and round it off with an Ocean Drake. This is the last one before Elder Dragon spawns as well.
Ocean Dragon at this stage of the game doesn't really give you that much, but taking this away, not only does it mean that Singularity don't get it, obviously, but more importantly, this makes the Elder Dragon win condition that much more scary. If you can get the Elder Dragon when you have 3 dragons previously, then it's that much stronger. But Baron buff is around halfway done right now, so there's probably time to do another push in a lane if they want to. You would imagine that's probably going to be topside, because that's the only lane that has a tower open that isn't one of the inhib towers, so that's the easiest lane to knock down right here. And also, obviously, if Nar's sitting bot lane, he's just split pusher. Where's the rest of the team going to go? Probably top lane. So we'll see whether or not they can actually crack this tower down with the rest of the Baron buff.
Yeah, now Parascree is attempting to counteract that strategy and just pushing those waves out. We did say it was more of a 1-3-1, but right now Kerberos, without the teleport, might find himself out of position if he doesn't posture where the rest of his team are, and XL do go for a big engage. They are right now just clearing out the vision from Singularity's red side jungle and pinging out as well. You went wrong, going full red side. Take
Look
that
at this
last out to
cheeky
tier
little
2.
bush play.
Woohoo! Singularity. Are they going to be able to do anything? Krumel spots them all out with the Sand Soldiers, but gets jumped on instantaneously and blown up by Parascree. Inax left completely alone. Deathmark onto Orcs in the backline will go down as well. Does manage to trade it 1-for-1, however, but Xmati in amongst all 3 members of XL does end up going down. The reset after reset. Inax looking for more. Gets the 3rd. Finds himself a double, in fact, and is going to find the kill onto the turret as well. But all meanwhile, Kerberos in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is just pushing that tier 3 inhibitor turret in the mid lane.
He's gonna get that inhib as well. That was a perfect team fight for XL, even though it didn't really start the way they wanted to. Great block by Janna on the Zac like we were talking about, but they still managed to pull it through. But losing this inhib, you have to ask, okay, going inhib for inhib, when we were the ones with that initiative, when we were the ones with that advantage. As far as Kerberos and Singularity are concerned, that's a really smart play, that's a great play, and he's going for more onto the Gnar as well. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to get him. All about dominance, like we said before. But cracking open this topside inhibitor, that's cool. What it means is they can now head around the bot side as well and start pressuring that. And I feel like when you're playing against a 1-3-1 strat, like XL are playing against here, being able to crack open an inhibitor limits that 1-3-1 effectiveness. Because now Kerberos or Parascree have to sit in a lane versus super minions, and they're not really going to be able to push that wave down as far as they would like to and really kind of benefit from the 1-3-1 split push strategy.
You can see how much Kerberos has been on his own as well. 329 CS versus 240, almost flame horizoning Shikari at this point.
And at this stage of the game, that gold difference is still somewhat significant. The later the game goes on, obviously, the less it means, because people start hitting full build anyway. But considering Shikari is only there really to hit Mega Gnar, be a tank, and smack people into walls, I don't think he's as concerned of the fact that he's down in items.
Well, 5 members from Singularity, more than happy to defend this turret. Kerberos has got a lot of wave clear and the sustain as well. As a big glacial prism straight on Shikari, but look who took too much damage. And Kerberos is going to have to back out of this one rather sharpish, to even use the divine intervention on himself to actually get out of that fight. XL, they're going to be more than happy with this. Baron buff, however, has ran out, so they haven't got that to work with.
But they use the Sejuani ultimate, they use the KO ulti, and nothing goes down from XL. These guys have the potential to play really chill here.
Orcs is going really low. Deathmark onto the back line, goes straight onto Inax, but he's going to be more than happy just to return the favor. Parascree ends up going down, and XL crack another turret in the base. That inhibitor is now open. They find one, and there's a double super minion wave in the top side as well.
Yep, I was going to say they can play chill because Tot's pushing really hard, but of course, as I say that, they go really ballsy and go under the tower. This is what they want. They've killed probably the best kill threat from Singularity's team as far as shutting down Inax. Inax has some decent protection, but Zed is Zed. So you kill this Zed, you make it a lot less threatening to push out like this, and now there's only one lane in this game that doesn't have an inhib down as far as XL's push is concerned, which just so happens to coincide with that one lane that your inhib is down. So you can push down mid, defend your mid, which is being pushed in by super minions, and also get pressure onto that enemy inhibitor as well.
Singularity flexing on him. But XL, the ones with the bigger muscles, they've been to the gym for a whole week
pretty swole
at the ESL studios.
He does his little taunt and he just, he's pretty buff.
My favorite thing about the Zac is the SKT, the Zac skin, where he eats a little bit of himself. It's what Blank wanted.
Classic.
Yeah.
I'm sure Blank wanted a little bit more after today as well, but he ain't getting that. Unlike XL, who are looking to get the inhib mid lane.
Look at where they're positioning. Look at where Caesar is. He wants to go for a small little 1-2 around the back line. Kerberos doing the same thing. Parascree will take a binding, and Cessa maybe siding against it. All straight on top of the key target. Orcs actually gets the death mark this time, but they blow up Inax regardless. Shikari in the front line gets a huge Mega Gnar, but will it matter? Parascree sends Krumel golden as he does take out Shifter. He has to get out of there, but it wasn't quite enough. He did take Kerberos with him, however. That is a 3-4-2 trade in favor of XL.
They did not respect that Sejuani flank at all, and more importantly, the black shield from Morgana doesn't hit Inax. Inax tanks the Sejuani ultimate, blows up instantly, and that's all she wrote for him. But fortunately for XL, they've got minions pushing into the enemy base. That means that losing a team fight like this doesn't mean you lose too much, because Singularity still need to lick their own wounds. They could easily be losing Baron after losing a fight like that, but when your base is getting pushed in, they lost a Nexus tower. There's one Nexus tower here left. You have to defend at that point. So, a bit of a panic moment for XL right there. But fortunately, it doesn't mean too much for them.
At this point in the game as well, like you said, that is a massive panic moment, because your inhib is down in mid lane. If that went even more south for XL, if they lost another member and Singularity saved one extra, that very well could have been at the end of the game. You run down mid, the amount of damage and auto-attack based damage they do have from Kerberos and Parascree and Matty, your turrets are dust at that point. Doesn't look like they want to start up this Baron though, or at least Inax is going for a little something.
Kerberos is TPing in though.
They need to be able to defend this. Inhibitor now up in the top lane as well. All good for Singularity. At least one of their inhibs has spawned. XL are going to disengage for the Baron for the moment.
This is really smart because they've still got bot lane pushing in with the inhib down. And Kerberos just dedicated to that play with his TP.
Glacial Prism isn't going to find anybody. Only a little bit of damage onto Taxa and Orcs. That's a big engage tool that Singularity have been riding off in the last few fights.
XL just need to chill out as well. I mean, look at bot lane. That's going to just be pushing endlessly. And Singularity have to send someone bot lane to stop that. But if they do, Baron's open. Just wait for that lane to put... It's gone. There you go. They send people bot, you get the Baron. Really smart play by XL to disengage straight away from that when they saw the Kerberos teleport. Opens up the free Baron afterwards. And this will be the last Dragon before Elder Dragon as well. So they'll probably pick this one up. And then if the game does go long enough to get Elder, they can play around that. And then they should be able to just brute force them in the game.
Another Ocean Drake added to the board. It's their fourth Dragon of the game. Double Ocean, double Infernal. There it is. The giant glowing Elder Dragon symbol will be up in 7 minutes' time. Now, Singularity, where do they fight? Where do they actually need to position Kerberos, who has amassed such a massive lead, not only in items, but in CS as well? Has more than flamed Horizon. Shikari at this point even has a death cap on board. If he can survive the fights, Inax is dead, Krumel's dead. There's no way they can sustain through that much damage. The problem is, more often than not, if Inax gets a couple of basic attacks off, Parascree falls, Matty falls. We're a late game Tristana territory now, boys.
I mean, XL are in command of this game, but it's still worth mentioning that Kerberos is most definitely in two-shot enemy AD carry mode right now. It's scary how much gold this guy has. It's scary how strong he is. He's basically fully built, and he will just one-shot the enemy AD carry. So these fights could go either way, really. If we get a good engagement from Sejuani, Kerberos gets in there, boom.
That inhibitor.
Here we go.
Sessa is going to jump in there. Krumel is going to back off it. No worries. That Black Shield saving him for the time being. Kerberos gets Buster shotted out of the fight. Redemption comes down, healing them up for the moment, but that inhibitor will fall in the end.
Losing the ultimate from Kerberos as well, and the ultimate from Sejuani. That's the main engage gone, and also the only thing that's keeping this squishy hyper carry sort of top laner from just dying instantly in these team fights. So that's fine for XL. They still got Baron. They're still able to make these pushes happen.
There goes the last inhibitor and the last inhibitor turret as well. 3 inhibs now exposed for Singularity, and XL only need to secure 1 more to guarantee double super minion waves, which Singularity need to defend against. Kerberos now full build though with Wit's End. 38 minutes, 430 CS, has to pop the Divine Intervention again. Inax, rapid fire cannon, 1 shot sends him to below half HP.
I mean, you have to catch Inax with this Sejuani ultimate, but how do you do that versus the Mikhails plus Black Shield Morgana? It's just such a small window for Singularity to actually be able to turn these fights, to actually be able to get these engages. They did it once, but it's really hard to do it twice. And you have to think from this point on, XL, still with the Baron for a little while longer. 3 lanes, Dunzo, 1 Nexus Tower. And if worse comes to worse, you chill out and play around the Elder Dragon. XL are in the driving seat for sure here.
They need a miracle, and that miracle might have just been found. Sessa finds Inax, but they're just going to focus down Krumel, although Matty is trying to do it all he might to the back line, cannot quite find it. They already take out Parascree, and now Kerberos in the 1v2 manages to take out Shikari. Tags the Elastic Slingshot in, Divine Intervention from Kerberos, they're in the perfect position, but Krumel doing free damage is going to take out the Kayle, and Orcs following it up with a binding, doesn't quite land on Sessa. They do trade 2 for 1 right now, with Sessa going extremely low as well. Inax is going to be able to secure this Nexus turret, and game number 3 will go over to XL as soon as they do knock it down. They're not out of the woods yet. Still match point for Singularity, but they secure 1 on the board.
And Singularity, having just come off of the weekend playing Paris Games, must be shattered, just physically knackered. If this goes to a really long series, you have to give the edge just from fatigue into XL's favor, and they played this game really well. I think this is exactly the kind of game you want to make that turnaround game in. Very clean.
Orc says Inax is a player to watch, and he comes in clutch, and that's